And Jessica Landman brings us the inspiring story of a first responder who sacrificed his life during the attack on the Twin Towers and then found a way to help all first responders and their families. Let's watch.
The attacks on September 11th, 23 years ago, had an impact on everyone, not just those involved in the attack, but friends and families from across the country who lost loved ones. Many first responders also lost their lives that day trying to protect and help the people trapped in the towers. Family and loved ones who lost someone that day still feel the effects of that loss today, and that is why the Tunnel to Towers run began, to honor a brave first responder who lost his life that day.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation was founded in the aftermath of the September 11th attacks. On September 11th, 2001, New York City firefighter Stephen Siller, who was off duty and on his way to play golf with his brothers, heard of the attacks on his radio. He circled back to his firehouse in Brooklyn, where he worked as a member of Squad Company 1, but Squad 1 had already been dispatched and was en route to the Trade Center. Undeterred, Stephen went into the firehouse, grabbed his equipment, and attempted to drive to the Trade Center. But when he reached the entrance to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, he discovered that the tunnel had been closed down because of the attacks. Stephen donned over 60 pounds of personal protective equipment, ran through the 2-mile-long Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, up to the World Trade Center to the South Tower, where it is believed that he met up with his other members of Squad Company 1 and was killed in the collapse of the South Tower. That following year, in the aftermath of the attacks and as the country was recovering, Stephen's family wanted to do something not only to honor his sacrifice, but the sacrifice of the other first responders and civilians that day.
And that was how the Tunnel to Towers run began. This run in Utica represents all of central New York. Most of the funds raised in the walk go toward the foundation and the programs they have, including their Fallen First Responder Program, Gold Star Family Program, Smart Home Program, and the Homeless Veteran Initiative. All these programs go toward helping first responders, veterans, and families of those who lost lives in service. This run will take place August 18th at 9 a.m., beginning at the 9/11 Memorial in Utica and ending in downtown Utica.